Rick, I think we are in a mode where participants can't see the background. So I'm no co-host and I can't see the background.
I am, and I can't see it. I think he's going to bring it up.
Ah, okay, perfect.
Thanks for the reminder. I had to share there, so thanks.
Is this the right background, Rick? Is this the Muppet Show? Or just the technology hidden in the matter state?
Well, this is all beings everywhere.
Beautiful screen. Indeed, indeed.
Okay, I'll start recording.
Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. the Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion. That is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness by giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine, irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 367th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be your host today. And we are joined with members and support members of the Universal Council who will be presenting today's show. So let me get that ready here, and we will begin. And I believe we have Mehran as to do our introduction today.
Thank you very much, Rick. Hello, everybody. Wherever you are and what time in Europe, it's afternoon to this new program today. And I hope it's useful. It gives more understanding of the totality of what we strive for peace on earth. And we know that Mr. Keshe has always said, unless we don't have a peace in the level of the planet Earth, we cannot develop and reveal the whole technology for all human beings at the same time. So we really sincerely work and wishes for peace and justice in the world, to have the new age of prosperity, health, and whatever human beings need. And in this program, we talk about the new the news about peace, about wishes, and some news about the web store, the new products, about the transmutation, and the new thing is about the commandments, which is beautiful. I'm very excited to hear that. And as we know, we are all the same. We are all the same from the image of God. It's all the same ingredients by the Creator. And in each condition and place and environment, we are created with different recipes. Like in the kitchen, there is a dough, and we take from this dough, and everybody makes what they want from it. The cake, bread, or croissant, or what. So we are all the same in essence. And also the air I respire is the air you expire. So we are really very much together. So why should we fight for? And we know that at the end, we leave everything we have gathered in this material life, and we go to the land of energy. And then according to what we have done and said and accomplished in this world, we get to different places. So what's the most important? These small period of life in this world, and gathering in any way and any cost, even bothering others, or accumulating the force in our soul by being correct and having the ethos of Mitra, think good, talk good, and act good. And of course, it's not easy. That's why we have to always work on ourselves and seriously try to be able to better ourselves and to better the life of others. Even if we can achieve bettering the life of one person, it is all worth it. So I'm glad that you beautiful souls are here, enthusiastic to see what's in the program today. And I wish that we could understand a little bit more about this technology of creation, technology of understanding the universal creation. Thank you very much again. And here we are.
Beautiful wishes, my dear beautiful souls. We, the Universal Council, give through our soul to elevate all souls in existence to understand the situation around the world in a way coming to the oneness of one planet, one nation, one race. Our wish is our command.
We, the Universal Council, give from our central energies the strength for all those engaged in ending conflicts and war, that peace will be declared the winner, not one side or another.
We, the Universal Council, give collective from our souls to elevate the soul of humanity and the leaders to accept peace and open a new age of prosperity and justice for a better life for all.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the soul to all leaders and be part of the technology in exchange for peace. Our wish is our command.
Thank you, beautiful soul. Join the soul of man with the soul of physicality by speaking these words in this moment. And in this moment, I say, you all say, I love you, my soul. I live with you, and I love with you, and I adore you. Beautiful. See what the soul will give back to you. Thank you. Thank you, my soul. And now we can go to the next presentation, my dear. soul connection. As in this elevation of souls, I will um, elevate the souls in my uh, language, national language, Hindi. And this is when we are, as we say, we are here, and as our timeless true self, breathing, breathing in and breathing out, focusing on the breathing. Thank you, my dear beautiful souls. I'll say all this in Hindi, elevating also. आप सभी को शाश्वत प्रणाम, सलाम अलैकुम, नमस्कार, सलीम। और मैं आप सभी अपने कालांतरिन शाश्वत स्वरूप के साथ यहाँ पर प्रस्तुत रहें और आत्मा के उन्नयन के लिए, आत्मा की बढ़ोतरी के लिए, उजागर के लिए आप ये ध्यान जरूर करें, जहाँ आप पूरी पृथ्वी के जीवात्माओं के लिए, उनकी आत्माओं के उन्नयन के लिए हमेशा तटस्थ रहते हैं, प्रस्तुत रहते हैं, यही इसी स्थान में जहाँ आप हैं इस वक्त। तो मैं सांसों पर जरा ध्यान दीजिएगा, ये हमें ब्रह्मांड के से जोड़ती हैं। तो सांस हल्की से लीजिए, बिल्कुल सांस पर अपने नासिकाओं पर ध्यान रखिए, सांस लीजिए और सांस बाहर कीजिए और सोचिए आप सबसे जुड़े हुए हैं, एक आत्मा स्वरूप में, एक शाश्वत स्वरूप में, एक शाश्वत सत्य के स्वरूप में। और ये जो समय है जब हम आत्मा को उन्नयन कर रहे हैं, वैसे तो हम आत्मा से हमेशा हमेशा जुड़े रहते हैं, जो कि समय के पार है, समय इसमें काम नहीं करता। तो हम ये कह रहे हैं कि हम ये 3 मिनट के लिए इस आत्मा के उन्नयन का को करते हैं। तो आप सब हृदय और मन से, हृदय और आत्मा से, मन से यहाँ प्रस्तुत रहें और ये अभी मैं शुरू करती हूँ। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शाश्वत प्रणाम, नमस्ते और यहाँ प्रस्तुत रहने के लिए, हमेशा के लिए। सुख संपदा शांति और प्यार के लिए धन्यवाद. Thank you, beautiful souls, for being present always with your heart full of the beauty and totality for all souls in existence, with love, peace, light, abundance, and prosperity, dear ones. Thank you so, so much. Salam, namaste, salute.
And this is the invitation by the Universal Council to join us on a daily basis. This is part of the work of how we're establishing peace is through our wish or through our emotions, or perhaps even the power of inertia of emotions, which we haven't fully understood. So you can join us if it's your wish to see peace. It's the collective awareness of all of us, which by giving will establish this peace. So the Universal Council is operating in this energy dimension. It's, again, a new toy to play with. As Mr. Keshe said, we're opening up the mystery of the matter state of the entity to its energies. We always thought we had to physically do things. The Universal Council is not carrying placards so much or writing emails or protesting or doing any of that things, but we're working through the power of the souls collectively. And the beauty of this process, as Mr. Keshe said, nobody fails this test. So if it's your wish to see peace, ask your soul to remind you when 9 p.m. Central European time. And as we saw in one of the earlier backgrounds, see what the soul will do. And you'll be surprised that 5 minutes before 3, sometimes, or maybe 5 minutes after, my time is 3 o'clock. It says 9 p.m. here, but it's 3 for me. All of a sudden I realize, yes, it's time to join with the others on the energy level. And of course, if you miss it, which I do, sometimes the physicality takes over and I get so involved that it's an hour later before I even realize it. But you can participate in this process more often than once a day. And you can also apply it to others where you can learn to give. As Mr. Keshe said, we need to give before we can take. So if it's a family member, a coworker, somebody sick, you can practice this as well, because these are the techniques I think we'll be using when you go into the universe. You may not have a collection of a bouquet around you of other souls, or maybe you will, but you're going to have to give and take certain energies in order to survive or in order to create in the universe. So this is a process not only establishing the peace here, but also learning how we can use our energies to give and also to take, which is, I thought Mr. Keshe said at one point, even more important. But this is all about elevating souls. So the Universal Council invites the Keshe family and the Universal Council family in unifying at the soul level every time and every day at 9 p.m. Central European time or Central European summertime to elevate the souls of the leaders to achieve the permanent and lasting peace as part of the soul of peace and totality. So this is how we're establishing it on the energy dimension, not on the physical dimension. And I had just thought of when we used to have to, if you forgot your car door was locked, you used to have to physically go out. And I know we take it for granted now, but we've actually used the energy state to remotely lock the doors. We don't have to physically go out and check and see if they're locked. So that was a beautiful thing. But it's the same way. We're working on the energy dimension, that we don't have to try and meet these leaders and talk to them in the physicality, which again, we'd be speaking to the doorman. So we're going right to the soul of these leaders, not so much the leaders, but the soul of the leaders, that they may pick up the energies and change something within that leader, within his dimension of physicality. And we don't have to look for the results. Again, we're just instructed to practice and give, and nobody fails this test. So we encourage you all to join us. Again, this is a meeting on the energy level. So there's no formal meeting in Zoom or Telegram or any of the other places, but it's just taking responsibility on your own and collectively to bring the change through the energy dimension. So please join us, and you'll be surprised what the soul will do. Thank you.
Next, we have a short video about becoming a member of the Universal Council. Just let me get that lined up. Okay, here we go.
There's something which I should have made announcement. As we are structuring in a new development of the Keshe Foundation, is worldwide application and implication. As we set up the structure for Universal Council, a number of Universal Council members have become old and they reach the age of 60, and they served during the 60 years they are there till 61. They to run the functionality of the operation of the what we call energy dimension, the Universal Council members, if you want to become, please consider and let your soul decide of any languages around the world, as these will be announced very soon internationally, and we expect the souls to serve. And if it's from the knowledge seekers who understand the technology with dimension of the soul, you can apply for to be added to and become a member of the Universal Council. The Earth Council is appointed by the Keshe Foundation on the grounds of true structure of the nationality, understanding the culture, that there is no prejudice by physical dimension of the borders. And so if you feel your soul is there to serve humanity in expansion and the growth of it, just apply for it at the Keshe Foundation, or send the email to info@keshe.foundation, say I would like to be a member of the Universal Council. We receive this regularly, and now we're going to expand this very rapidly due to what is to come and what is to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Please, do you ask you to use soul for serve to the others, serve to your community? Please come and be part every language to every country. Be part of the Universal Council and bring your bridge to communicate with the universal community. Give your emotion for humble. You serve your community. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. Thank you.
And again, the email address for that would be info@keshe.foundation. Okay, let's move on.
Hello and good day to you. Last week, we had the introduction to the commandments, why they were given and how they are able to help us on the way to the Creator. And today we are starting with the first commandment. So to say, the first 10 commandments are more meta-state commandments, more related to the physicality. And the first commandment that were given is, I am the Lord, just a moment, please. I hope that it will be displayed on the screen. Yes, thank you. I am the Lord, your God. It's a very simple one, And there is not much to say about, but I want to give you a different viewpoint to it. As I have learned from our soul and the technology of the creator, it's more that for me, it's I am the creator, your soul. This is what it is for me, this first commandment. And maybe someone else wants to add something to it, but the first commandment is really a very easy one. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. It's Dean here. I'd just like to make a comment if that's okay. So I am the Lord, your God. And that has very big implications, as we know, how theology has shaped the plasma of our lives, of our understandings, and of our creations. If you have a path of belief, then these words can mean many things, and they can lead you down a certain path or a certain plasma circle. The knowledge that that Joseph and the foundation, Mr. Keshe, the Universal Council, and all the knowledge seekers that have come to know, understand that this has implications of the God within. This plasmatic condition in the structure of man that has this energy pack, this plasma, like a sun, a radiant interaction of fields that shine very brightly when you understand some of this knowledge that is being shared. And it interacts with you in a different way. When the seed of interaction is put forward, is radiating in the right way, everything from that seed is then going to be a beautiful blooming condition of interactions. It's not just going to be something that's said in a certain way and then not acted upon. So you can say, I am the Lord your God, and you're giving away that it's outside of you. Or you can come to understand that you have a spark of this ray, this beauty within your structure, and you're a part of the whole of totality. And so the God within is, and it's the smallest thing, and yet with this simple thing we see on the screen now that has shaped the lives of many, it's the most powerful creation because of a belief. And Mr. Keshe has explained many times that these beliefs really do create all sorts of conditions that then we have to balance for. So understand the beauty that's within you. Thank you, Joseph. I don't know if anybody else would like to say something.
Okay, shall we pass to the next one? Next slide.
Rick, Christine, I believe so.
Okay.
Sorry, Sweater. If no one else is coming forward, then yes, we can pass over. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, next we have the questions and answers with the Universal Council with Claudia and Marie. And this event takes place on the first Saturday of each month. And this recording is from Saturday, February 1st. And we are now on the fourth question. So I'll just get that prepared here. And now we'll listen in on the fourth question with Claudia and Marie.
And then we are on the fourth question. Good evening to the members of the Universal Council. Mr. Keshe tells us that we have the amino acids in our reactor and that they give us what we need. But when we buy a product directly from Keshe Foundation, do these amino acids have neutral energy that is good for all living beings?
Então vamos para a quarta pergunta. Boa noite aos membros do Conselho Universal. O Sr. Keshe nos diz que temos os aminoácidos em nosso reator e que eles nos fornecem o que precisamos. Mas quando compramos um produto diretamente da Fundação Keshe, esses aminoácidos têm energia neutra que é boa para todos os seres vivos?
And the first answer, the intention behind these products is to help humanity to get out the best of itself.
A intenção por trás desses produtos é ajudar a humanidade a extrair o melhor de si mesma.
And there is another answer. The ganses and the amino acids are in a way new creations which will, when they get into your proximity, interact with you. So in a way, the fields from the ganses and amino acids will be exchanged with you. So if you have positive emotions, which are fields, the ganses and amino acids will contain the field strength of positive emotions. And if you are angry or sad, the ganses or amino acids will contain the strength of the fields of your sad and angry emotions. You are yourself a plasma, and it's the same way all other plasmas exchange fields. The stronger gives to the weaker.
Os GANs e os aminoácidos são, de certa forma, novas criações que, quando entram em sua proximidade, interagem com você. Assim, de certa forma, os campos dos GANs e aminoácidos serão trocados com você. Então, se você tiver emoções positivas, que são campos, os GANs ou aminoácidos conterão a força de campo das emoções positivas. E se você estiver zangado ou triste, os GANs ou aminoácidos conterão a força de campo de suas emoções tristes e zangadas. Você próprio é um plasma, e é da mesma forma que todos os outros plasmas trocam campos. O mais forte dá ao mais fraco.
And there is another answer. You look at the physical side. Try to look at the energetic field side. Our reactor was there always. Now we learn to connect, convert, interact, divide, and multiplicate field strengths. The universe is providing abundance, nothing else. Do this work to the benefit of all souls in existence. You can't be wrong with that.
Você olha para o lado físico. Tente olhar para o lado do campo energético. Nosso reator sempre esteve lá. Agora aprendemos a conectar, converter, interagir, dividir e multiplicar as forças de campo. O universo está fornecendo abundância, nada mais. Faça esse trabalho para o benefício de todas as almas existentes. Você não pode errar com isso.
So that was the answers from the Universal Council today. I thank everyone who contributed and thank you for having me here, Claudia.
Okay, that's our excerpt for today. And let me see, let me have a look at my calendar, what's coming up with the next Saturday in March. Oh, goodness, it's
This Saturday.
Saturday the 1st, once again. It's quite a coincidence, I think. I guess it must happen once every 7 months or something like that. But anyway, it's Saturday the 1st of March will be the next presentation. And how can people tune into that, Mark? Is there a link somewhere? How is that accomplished?
Keshe.Brazil, perhaps, on the Keshe Telegram for Brazil. I'm sure they have a Facebook channel. There's many links provided. You'll have to look on the social medias. You can join it on YouTube as well.
Okay, very good. Okay, we'll go on to our next part here, which is the knowledge and understanding from the 578th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last Thursday, and that will be with Stefania. And I'm to play the background video. So please go ahead, Stefania.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Hi, Eric. I just welcome everyone from wherever in the part of the world you are. Yes, today we're going to talk about the 578. It's been another mind-blowing workshop, so I really highly recommend it. So to go and listen last Thursday workshop. Mr. Keshe in the first part did most of the first part he drew in the whiteboard, and he explained everything in there. So I'm just gonna summarize what I remember, but I will recommend you to go and re-listen. So it's a really important part. He confirmed that he went deeper in the last 2-3 weeks in the knowledge of the plasma technology, and here as well gone very deep. So he started to talk about the creation, a definition of the creator, magnetic field in motion, and he going to talk more in depth about why about the magnetic fields, the gravitational and magnetical, and he make example of the Earth and the magnetic fields going through North and South Pole. And he explained more in details why the Earth is tilted and how life is created. He also going to speak in details about the magnetic fields again, and is referring to the draw he done last week. So the teaching of the 148, it's follow up of a draw that he done the week before. And he talk about again the neutron, electron, and the proton, and he referred to that draw I was referring to, where you have 3 layers of the maggrav, the 3 layers of the skin, and it's go more in depth and going to speak about the star formation, and why it's important to know about the star formation. And the star formation, again, I like the 3 elements, like the neutron, proton, electron, and they all making the four. Then you go more in details on, say, the different reason why we got different organ, different tissue, and it dry the star formation with the 3 points in different orientation. So it is really telling how is important the orientation of the fields and the dimension. Is also going to talk about deuterium, the ray, the beginning of creation, what is a ray, and even in the ray we got emotion, and is an entity, even the ray. So even the ray inside, if you cut the ray, you slice it up, and you take a slice. In that slice, you make like again another star formation. And then you go into the carbon 14. I cannot repeat, to tell you the truth, everything. I'm still myself trying to understand it, but it's very, very important. And then you go into the pause, and after the pause, you start to talk about the new product, the shop, and also it talks about even the first part. Sorry, I forgot that you talk about the picture of the they made from the transmutation session. They are every month, and it's a very interesting part because I was reading about it, try to understand it, and he said that later on the second part is going to show the picture of that they managed to get from the transmutation session, and there clearly you can see again the 3 layer: the soul of the man, the soul of physicality, and physicality. But what was interesting was that he showed 2 pictures of the 3 layer, and in one picture the 3 layer are like magraph, 3 horizontal line, one on top of the other, and then there was another picture where actually he had the soul of the man, soul of physicality, same as before, so in horizontal line, and the physicality is actually vertical, is not anymore horizontal. And here is a very interesting topic he talk about, because he can prove of the different dimension, because he said he's gonna teach us, he's teaching our focusing on how can we come from energy to matter state, and from matter state to energy. And he said that as we go higher in strength in fields, this is my understanding, what I remember, as you're higher in fields, you kind of are in another dimension than when you're low. This is my understanding. So he said, for example, in the picture where the horizontal line are all parallel, in referring to the graphic of the transmutation session, he referred to the collective, like when we are all united at the soul level as collective. And then when he go into the individual, you go the soul of the man and soul of physicality horizontal, and the physicality it's a vertical. So this, from my understanding, he tried to say that that's why when you travel, you transmute in a new environment. For example, if from Europe you're going to China, That's why you talk in Chinese, because your soul and your soul of physicality, your soul of the man will be equal with the soul of the nation, of the language, like China, for example. But you as an individual, you are changed. So your physicality, it will change once you arrive to China. So you're gonna start to speak Chinese, you're gonna start to speak the language. So this is my understanding of that one. But please go to listen. It's very, very interesting. The deuterium part is very interesting. It's all interesting. Okay, I didn't go through all the after the post. It talked about the transmutation session. It talked about the shops, the new product. There is Mehran asked a very good question that he made. But then Azar, then he went again, talk about the product. Yes, so there are more questions, but I didn't write it out all. I don't know if Mark can talk more about the second part with the product. But yes, please go and see, because in this workshop, he tried to answer a very important question of life, where we come from, and the rest. Okay, thank you.
Stefania, thank you. It's Dean here. Can I quickly add to that?
Please.
Is it okay?
Yeah, because I didn't at the time to do proper second part summary. So if you go more to add.
Okay, so I'm going to go on to it a little bit more, but it's not the second part. This is the first part still. And Mr. Keshe was talking the magnetic field waves lead to everything in this universe, energy and motion. And in their conversion and interactions, this creates everything, becomes us. It's a reflection of him. And then he went on to talk about the river of life and the river of the fields in the universe, and saying that the daughter of Mitra will teach humanity this in the coming times. And he was talking about where the magnetic fields created a cycle of interactions, a cycle of life, the life of a field, magnetic fields, their existence, the separation, the world of plasma, as we look at it, and the knowledge of the fields. In physics, they've looked at it, say, a magnet, and they see two fields. And Stefania was talking about the north and the south. And they see two fields. Two fields coming in through the South Pole, and going out through the North Pole. And these two fields is where there's much more of an in-depth explanation of this. You, again, as Stefania said, you would need to go and look at this. However, this is where most of the matter state conditions of the science, the present science, stops, because it's like Newton's law. And it's where the magnetic fields are going in through the Earth in two positions, or in a couple of positions. In the plasmatic condition, there's more than two fields going in and out. There's a mixture of fields. And so this sort of opens up the understanding. Then Mr. Keshe started going on about, when you understand there's more fields, it's the point of the observer that's noticing these fields. So the scientists, the souls, myself, yourself, all of us, we're interacting through the knowledge that we have. And the knowledge that's being shared here is a big addition to what humanity's had. And we base all of our infrastructures and all of our knowledge on some knowledge that's been superseded. And this is what the teachings are all about. Mr. Keshe went on about, what does orientation mean? And he was saying that if you push the magnetic fields in a certain direction, like you have with the planet Earth, you get the 4 seasons. And those 4 seasons you don't get on planet Mars or other planets. And he was saying, why is this? It's because they don't have that magnetic push from the side that's creating the flow. So this tilting of the Earth gives us a certain spectrum of energies that we as a species and all the other created creatures are created from in the physical sense, in the physical form. And Mr. Keshe goes on to say that if you understand some of this, then you'll start to understand how life on Earth and the DNA and all is very connected with this feedback loop. He said the environment has a field you have to interact with. Then you have a field to find a conversion. And then you can handle within, and at the same time, it's a loop. So you have to handle this within, and at the same time, it's a loop. And this is like as I said, connected to the DNA. And this is where we need to realize that it's in a plasmatic condition. And Mr. Keshe then went on, what does this mean? And he was saying that you have to understand the essence of creation in a plasmatic condition. And then, as Stefania was saying, that you have an atom, and he was linking all the neutron, proton, and electrons to this atom in a certain shape and drew a box around it. And then he was showing that a star formation, whether it's a cell in the body, a tissue, or whatever, is the same. It's just orientated differently. So when you draw a circle around it, you suddenly realize that instead of having it stacked on each other, like the energy of a neutron, proton, electron that we've come to know, you draw a circle around it and you get the cell of man, the tissue of man. And then the orientation, Mr. Keshe was saying, like the tilt of the Earth, has a magnetic interaction that creates matter state, the cell, the tissue. And the orientation, the twist, the tilt, if it's in a different, slightly different way, will give us a different tissue. So we may have the tissue of, I don't know, a lung or something. But then if you have those cells and you slightly orientate them differently and move them in a slightly different way, you might get the heart cell instead. And the real beauty of this knowledge is that the energy within the star formation in the middle, the centralized point, the soul, would be in a slightly different position. So this is what gives us those different matter state conditions. So whether it's a heart cell or whether it's a lung cell, is where the soul is positioned within the spectrum of energies of the plasma. So and then he went on to the angle of orientation of the connection to this. You get the cell or you get the heart. And this is the bit that was missing by all, was that the connection of the central position creates the soul, the controller, energy and motion. And I suppose the most beautiful bit of this understanding is that the cell does not exist in physicality, it exists in the dimension of the fields. So we've made the soul connection as we've understood, and whether it's in a field of interactions on planet Earth that interact with and give us our body structure, or whether we understand that if we take that position and move it outside of the atmosphere of planet Earth, we're going to get a totally different environment and a totally different interaction. And I think this goes into the position of the Universal Council, the universal knowledge, the beauty of the teachings that are being used and shared with everybody for us all to understand. And I think this first part alone, and I'm sure I've missed much of it, but this part alone is the mystery that has been present with humanity for many eons, for a very long time, probably since we've known the existence of ourselves. And it's it's a matter state condition that we've come to understand. When you start to realize the soul of man, and you realize how you can position it and create other things through the magnetic field interactions, you can create life. So if somebody in a laboratory was actually had the interaction of the sun and the earth in a laboratory condition, and they created a plasma and they gave it a tilt, you will start to find that life would start to exist very similar to what we come to know now. And that is a big, big understanding for humanity to come to know. This opens up many possibilities in the world of science and in the knowledge of understanding of humanity, and for many other creatures that will benefit from this knowledge being shared. And we have to thank Mr. Keshe for the beautiful teachings, and all the knowledge seekers that are present in the moment receiving this knowledge. The soul of you is rejoicing, and we all are, and we thank you for each and every moment. So thank you all. Thank you, Stefania, and thank you, Rick. And I think I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, because I didn't have time to summarize properly the 578. So you definitely add more to the first part. I really recommend you to go and listen. It's mind-blowing. There is also a part where Mr. Keshe talk about, it was one of the questions that really stuck me, where it talk about if we can manipulate time. It was talk about the present, the future, and the past. I really like the way he dealing with situation when he want to kind of, if they were talking about manipulating time, and he said when there is something that it doesn't go the way I maybe he wanted or expected, he just to step back from you make example, people walking, a group of people walking together, and one of these person just start to slow down and go backward, walk slower than all the other, and in this way you could see better what was happening by taking it out himself, and then by changing something in the environment. He make also the example of when he was play a game where he was throwing the dives. He was changing the container of the dives to change the situation. So I really like the fact that he changed something in the environment to see if there is different outcome. I really like that. But it's in the second part, and it talks more about the product, about the he show in details the picture they created on the transmutation session. They are very interesting, that one as well. Yes, so talk about a lot of stuff. Mehran and others make a real lot of question. So I really recommend you to go and listen. I don't know if Mark or anyone else want to add anything to the second part of the 558. Even Mehran, she's really good to summarize. Maybe with all of us, we can do a good summary.
Stefania, I think you've summarized the second part. I didn't actually. I haven't. There's so much of this teaching, and it was such a comprehensive teaching that it was, as Stefania said, it's a bit of a mind-blowing thing. There was so much knowledge that was shared, and to try and interact and to share all of it in one go in a brief summary like this is even that is very difficult. Because there was so much knowledge, and I listened to this part and I wrote some things down, absorbed some of the information that I gathered, and I need to then revisit. I need to go back to that position and to keep listening. And as Mr. Keshe said many times, it's taken man 1,000 years to understand some of this knowledge, and this is, as we all know, the more you go into it, the more you realize how big a plasma is and how very, very tiny existence is. And we're all part of this totality. So we have to come to know this wonderful knowledge that's being shared by the universal community. And as we absorb this knowledge, we elevate ourselves and we elevate the others that listen to these teachings. As Mr. Keshe has elevated us by us receiving the knowledge from him, and then we share it on. We're like a part of this. Mr. Keshe said you have a magnet and then you break it into pieces, and each single piece we still have, you know, the field strength of the totality of it. It doesn't diminish it. So it's a bit like the same for the knowledge when you share it. And it there's much of it and it goes on and on and on. And you will take from it what you come to understand and what as a soul you are willing to accept. So thank you all. Thank you, Stefania.
Okay, thank you, Dean and Stefania. And we still have a couple of excerpts coming up from the 578th Knowledge Seekers Workshop as well. So that'll be even more descriptive. And perhaps we can merge into that. We have a section of the Knowledge Seekers Workshop from 1 hour and 22 minutes where I believe it's described about the new products. So let's dive into that now.
I've just been sent a notice by the team in the background that they have launched a new product, which is what we call coasters for, and the instructions with it on the Keshe Foundation sales website. These are handcraft and takes a lot of time to make everyone. It's good and customized. You can ask for what you wanted in your order. I want for emotion, for happiness, for love, and whatever. And for depression, for whatever you feel the emotion of, or you want for whatever, the combination of this courses will be there. I think Rick can show you. It's already posted on the Keshe Foundation website. And try to understand that the position of the Keshe Foundation in the coming weeks will change drastically internationally. And for that reason, we keep the teachings completely separate from the what we call the other side of the work of the Keshe Foundation internationally. It will be very hard not to or keep the two separate, but we try to what we call bring this forward in a way that does not affect the what we call the work of the Keshe Foundation. You can see the coasters, I think somewhere. I can send you the link. You're trying to go through it. So in the coming days, in the coming months, we try to what I call be very precise with the teachings, because what we say can what I call affect the outcome of our work internationally. I have sent you the link, Rick, for it. You will find out from now on, we try to avoid to answer certain questions because it can affect the standing of the Keshe Foundation and our work in the international arena. And we try to be very, very, what I call precisely correct, that does not lead to misunderstanding or create problem for the foundation and our work outside the foundation, which is again connected to the foundation, but political, whatever reasons, we have to stay very, very clear in respect to this. And this allows us to, what do you call it, to create a new dimension of work, which we are, as knowledge seekers, we are not used to, but in the world of the man, we have to obey and we have to follow. So try to be very precise in the questions you ask, and we try to avoid anything which can bring a conflict between the two interest side of the work and essentially of the foundation, but in two different dimensions. I think you got the right page. You received it there. This is a new product. We work later on with different versions of this for transmutation and the rest. You will understand as this is, we brought this deliberately to expand in a lot of dimensions of the transmutation in the future. They look like courses, but there'll be massive addition to this in the coming weeks, as especially we go through transmutation and different applications of the Keshe Foundation technology for space technology. Any questions?
I was going to ask if the coasters are designed to be put under a cup or glass, but I see it does specify that in the description here.
It's a food safe. It can be used. You can, in the future, products which they put out, you can even drink from it or put plants in it. Yes, you put one coaster underneath and one coaster over, if you want to get it, or you can put the coasters different position in the house. And I think there is a part, or it should be a part, where you say for what purpose you want it, to see if it can be done.
Okay, let's put that link in our chat so that people have that available.
It's been the same with the soaps. The soaps has been a success. In a way, a lot of people are putting repeat orders because they've seen the effect of it, and it's more or less we are putting orders back to the manufacturers for further, and we increase the orders. And it's the same with these. These are the practical part of them bringing in and doing a lot of other things with it. Are there any questions?
Okay, let's. Okay, back to our presentation here. And see, I guess we can have any comments about the products. We have another excerpt from the Knowledge Seekers workshop, but there is an interval here to discuss the anything about the new products or donations and so on. Perhaps Mark or Dean might like to say something about that, or shall we move on to the Knowledge Seekers workshop excerpt?
Rick, is Dean here? Yeah, no, I can say something. So we see on the screen here, thank you, Rick, the GANS handmade resin coasters. We've spoken about it earlier, where everything's a plasma, and so these look like very simple additions to what's being sold on the site. The knowledge is all-encompassing. It is a plasmatic condition. We know the soul is unlimited. And we know the technology that's been shared, the GANs technology. That's just one part of it. And this is the GANs are like a solid gas. So it's a matter state condition. However, the plasmatic side of it is the conversion of the energies. And it's also the intentions. The intention of the creator to put and bestow something very beautiful within the consciousness and the sun-like abilities of the presence of the GANs, that are then produced into, in this instance, handmade resin coasters. And if we understand that a gradient, a spectrum of energies, will create different environments. We are just touching the very surface of an understanding that will enhance and elevate humanity's possibilities and the beauty of the knowledge that they have had in the past. It will give us the ability to receive energies as an energy pack in a plasmatic condition. So if you have an emotional disposition, an imbalance of some description, maybe you would want a coaster that gives you an emotional energy pack linked to one of the elements. These could be magnesium, it could be anything that we have a shortage of within the physical structure, which then creates a condition that we manifest into a position in our bodies. Remember, if we rebalance that by repositioning the cell, the tissue, just by a little twist, but this is in a plasmatic condition. So this is not giving you a pill. This is not giving you anything to ingest. This is just an energy transfer of fields for you to receive the balance from. And that's one explanation. You could maybe use two of them, and as Mr. Keshe said, and Mark has said many times, and I know the knowledge seekers are aware of. You could put one end of a room, and then put the other end of the room, and create a condition. The GANs in these handmade resin coasters, you could put a glass of water on them, as Rick was explaining earlier. So you could place the water on it, a glassed container with some water in it, and it's an energy transfer of fields. So that water would suddenly receive the energies that you would then consume. You would take into your plasmatic condition, and this would then filtrate and give you an energy spectrum to bring your body into balance, to bring your emotions into balance as well. Now that's in the just physically taking in the water, but you could also use that water once you start to really understand some of this technology. You could put that water into another container and spray it around the room. There's many ways that water is a liquid that can be in many different states. It could be a gas, a solid, a liquid, and all sorts of other conditions. So when you combine, remember what Mr. Keshe was speaking about, the three layers of the skin of man, the neutron, proton, electron, planets, everything you think of, it's all plasmas. So when you start to interact with this understanding and your soul, by putting your intention into it, and you're the creator, I made man in the image of myself, and there is, it's formless until we focus our attention with the addition of knowledge we're receiving, and use it in the environment, our environments, to bring peace, wellness, happiness, enjoyment to others. And then there's another key. It's when we share it and give it to others that that's when the plasma really works its best. It's when it works its beauty. Because when you become a giver, when you give energy to another soul, another plasma, in any shape or form with an intention, that soul will receive it with love and gratitude if it requires it. Doesn't always require it. You can sometimes, as the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. The soul might not need it, but if it does need the energy and you have a surplus and you share it, then it's always gratefully received, and then you receive back from all the other souls that you've now come to an understanding of. So there's much more to this knowledge than just like I said, a simple handmade resin coaster. It's unlimited, and those a few of the things I've mentioned there are just the tip of the iceberg. You are the creator, and each and every one of you has a beauty that you, if you bring it forward and place it in your environment and use your intentions with what you've come to know, then you can teach us, and that's where you become the teacher, and that's the beauty of the knowledge. That's exactly what Mr. Keshe has done. So, and each and every one of us is a teacher, and a universal soul, and we all have an understanding now of the beauty that we possess, and we are receiving a much higher spectrum of energies now, and it's up to us to receive, if you wish, your choice. So anyway, Rick, I will leave it there. I don't know if Mark would like to say something, and Mark always has some beautiful things to say.
Okay. Yes, again, transmutation through the coasters. As he said, we're just gradually building you up. And of course, he's hiding the plasma technology in the matter state. These are the products we see in the store. But he said, in a way, this is the back door, but soon we're going to be coming in the front door. And as he said, and I have to double check this, when you first touch the coaster, your emotion gets embedded in that coaster. And then he said to put the coasters on top, one on the bottom of your cup or your glass. And he said to collect the material that's created. He said, extract the material out of there and set it aside in a different container. He said, don't just drink the water. I would imagine if you had it on top of a juice or a coffee, top and bottom, you wouldn't notice any materials. So maybe he was just talking about the water, and see if you do create any materials and then collect that material. And again, this is hiding the technology, the plasma technology, in the matter state. But we're going to see some new ads regarding products in the store that'll probably be quite more enticing for people. As he said, we've gotten tired of the old ads in a way. So now we're going to see some new ads coming in, and it'll be targeted towards products in the store. As I said, if you want the celery and carrots, you try and make it at home. And of course, we're encouraged to do that. But to me, as he said about the deuterium and the connection and everything, I think he was answering a question from Ernest. It goes much, much deeper than we understand it at this point. So yes, many, many beautiful products in the Keshe Foundation store, made by the professor in a way. As he said, I test these things on myself. These are just not put something together. As he said, you mix the CO2 and the zinc together. He said, this is the worst thing you can do. And just to highlight what he said about the products that are being offered around the world under the name of the Keshe Foundation, but they don't seem to have a license from the Keshe Foundation. And as he said, beware. If they don't have a license from the Keshe Foundation, they're fake. And apparently there's going to be some negotiations or different things. But I'm aware of fake products on the market in Kenya. And Mr. Keshe explained there's fake products in many companies in China making fake products. We've heard that in Brazil, where even they appeared at the same seminar or exhibition center as the real knowledge seekers. We had a number of people offering, again, fake products. But apparently, Mr. Keshe has been aware of it. He's making us more aware of it. So that may be a question you want to ask. I know people conduct weekend seminars where you can build a MagRav or something and they charge a fee. The directive is just to share what you think you understand about this technology. And of course, as Mr. Keshe has highlighted in the past, when we bring knowledge seekers into the lab, we find out, or they find out, that what they thought they understood, they don't understand. So if you're looking for the gold standard in the products, if I could put it that way, you go to the Keshe Foundation store. But be aware, there's many, many fake products. There's fake products in the United States as well. And I've listened to one of the websites, somebody put a link and it made some sense, but on the other hand, it didn't make any sense. But as Mr. Keshe said, the knowledge seekers just do. They don't understand the depth of the technology. And we just made a short video on that. If you don't have a license from us, you're fake. So just beware. And I think Mr. Keshe will bring this under control. As he said, our name is on the product, and we need control over the way people do things. They don't just haphazardly do things as many of us seem to do. And as he said, the technology, much of it is still hidden. He said, we're only making you aware of 5% on the development end. So if you can recreate some of these products with only 5% of the knowledge, and I don't know what percentage of that you fully understand, well, all the best to you. But if you want the real products, you go to the Keshe Foundation store. And I think all of us will. And of course, we've seen a new feeding system, as he said. Now this feeding system is in production. And as he indicated years and years ago, he went to the world governments that no one goes to bed hungry. He could provide a technology or show people how to feed themselves and generate their own power, that no one goes to bed hungry and that no one goes to bed cold. So now we're seeing, he said, we're going to set up these feeding stations now that we're able to create the amino acids in the gaseous state. People will just breathe them in. They don't even have to see the technology, know about the technology, or even be aware of it. And they'll all of a sudden find themselves probably more emotionally balanced and wondering why they're not so hungry as they used to be. It's past their feeding time or whatever, or maybe they skipped a meal or two. But this is the technology that'll be set up around feeding stations. I remember someone sharing a story when they were a child, and he said, sometimes we were hungry going to school, and when you're hungry, it's very hard to learn. He said, but on the way to school, we'd walk by all these yards and they had fruit trees. And sometimes we'd pick an apple or a pear or a peach, and it would nourish us. But today there's none of that. So I think they will be setting up feeding stations, maybe outside of schools. Many children go to school hungry, and of course that interferes with their learning ability. So we set up these feeding stations, and you can just probably walk through the field. I don't know how it'll be. But he said they were able to create a gaseous state of amino acids. And he said this in a way about the ones in the UFOs. He said they're feeding on something. So perhaps they have this knowledge of creating amino acids and fulfilling their needs through those amino acids. But it would only be delivered through the Keshe Foundation as I see it. I don't think anyone has the full understanding. And of course, that is a good question to ask. Are you licensed by the Keshe Foundation? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark and Dean. And I think next we have another excerpt from the Knowledge Seekers Workshop regarding the topic is images about the souls in the transmutation sessions. Okay, just give me a minute to get that set up here. Okay, see if this will play. This is sometimes. Okay, I finally got the sound to work. Just give me a minute to get the right position. They will. Okay, I think we have it lined up here now, so close enough. And again, this is about the images, about the souls in the transmutation sessions. You'll see the same thing from Jerusalem. And it's your responsibility as knowledge seekers to explain, to understand. This is why we taught the maglev system. This is why we thought we took the picture of your energy center in the past few weeks for this reason, that you understand the difference and the influence of the field uh, in the structure of the life of the man, and in how you transfer this, and how you bring this about in the dimension of the what we call the soul of the man. What you saw with the maglevs, then you saw with what we call a structure of the what we show as a soul, is no difference. In fact, there is no difference whatsoever in any of it. I try to show you a picture which is very interesting for us, and then you understand how this dimension of the soul changes, and how we see different characteristics by what we call application and implication of the energies. When we looked at this, when we structured this, we see an amazing data in how your soul manifests itself in different dimensions. We can tell you how we are, how your structure sits, and how we see the energy transfers. I try to get you some pictures to see it. This is from what I call the recent trials with the Keshe Foundation that you have seen with us. This is not a maglev system. This is what we call is your souls, or what we call your central energy systems, which we have through means of electronics have brought it to be able to see. And you see how different you people are, and how your souls are. Some of you are having a meeting with me
who went through the session last Friday, this afternoon, after today's session, that we go through the way your soul looks and manifests itself, and in what dimension and direction you are. So what I'm going to do, that you all can see the understanding of the technology as of your own energy center, your own souls. And with it, we can characterize how you are in the development of the soul. Let me choose in the right way, or I should go the other way. Have a look, we've seen this before. You see the three lines of the matter state. This is the physicality. This one is the soul of physicality, and this is the connection what we call soul. This is the energy coming from the universe. This is the energy which goes to your body. If I turn this 180 degrees, is exactly the same. What's going to happen? You come over here from your soul, and then you go from your physicality, and you go from here from soul, depending on the speed we choose. So if you look at this, in reality, is no difference than, as I said before, with your maglev system, the 3 layers. But now look at this one. This is another picture of the structure of the same, but the soul of another person. If you look at it, there's a very, 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 very little soul of physicality in between. This shows, this line in the middle, is the split of personality. Not knowing if you want to be in the transmutation or physicality, because you see they feel the strength on both ends of the same strength. This is at the point of transmutation. And what is interesting when we see this is very, very interesting for us as a research. This is one half of the side of the body, and that's the other half side of the body. And you see, is not in a straight line. Is an angle. In the dimension of humanity, is a dimension of emotion, where if you've seen the other one, is a more or less a straight line. This is collective soul. This is personal soul. But further, you see the same interaction of the energy transfers, very much bandwidth connected. You still see both sides. But the most interesting one is this one. Have a look at this. This is what I was explaining to you before. You have the split line. This is the time when you're ready to transmute. This shows a lot of clarity of souls. We see this quite regularly now, where the soul of physicality and the soul have connected directly into the line. Physicality still stays, so you cannot transmute. These are your pictures, not ours. These are taken in the last sessions. You're part of it. then you see how we can define you completely. At what stage you are ready to transmute, not to transmute. You are in a state of, what do you call it, balance, or one half of the body wants to go, one half of the body doesn't want to go, or collectively you're there in balance. Half of you stays, half of you goes. And then this goes back to the light, the rays, the photons, and what do you call it, the ray. You see here, if I show you this, because this is a collective picture of many of you, you see one soul here is permanently, we see it back there, attached to physicality. Any other question?
Yes.
Okay, that's the excerpt from the 578th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last Thursday, February 20th. People can find that on YouTube and also on Vimeo as well. Okay, let's see here. To our next slide.
Hello, everyone. This is Mosfik again. We are once again going to look into transmutation in light of what everybody is saying, starting with this 578 Knowledge Seekers Workshop, Dean, Menas, and then Sveta, as well as Stefania. All of them said various parts of it. And what I'm going to talk about is just the continuation of what they've been talking about. I'm going to share an old picture, but I will add some new twist to it. So let me go ahead and share the picture. Okay, is it visible now? Okay, I hope it is.
Yes.
All right. So in the previous Knowledge Seekers Workshop, we understood the relationship of neutron and hydrogen. In a way, when the two comes together, it becomes a deuterium, as we all know. But in the plasmatic sense, it's a bit more intriguing, and it has all sorts of ramifications. So, as we have discussed earlier, the hydrogen line or the neutron line, because they're similar in the energy level, permeates through the whole creation. And to remind everybody, the blue circle is the universe, is our universe, and the purple circle is the unicos. Now, we see all these various carbons things that we talked about earlier, 12, 13, 14, and so forth. Now, let's look at this hydrogen line a little more carefully. Now, we'll bring a copy of these nitrogen and hydrogen down here to illustrate some points. Oops, I didn't copy it, so let's return it back to where it was. Okay. over here. So, and then bring a copy of the hydrogen here. Well, so if we place them next to each other, as we have seen from the previous knowledge seekers workshop, let me just a little bit, I'm going to make it a little bigger so that it's easier to draw. So now that we have this structure, and there is an interaction that starts to happen once we have such a situation, which is the soul of the system, or the fourth reactor of what do you call it? The star formation. So I'm going to do the filling, but with reddish color. Let's see, pink reddish color, something. Oh, there's that. Okay. So this is our the soul of the system. And we know, and this is so the neutron, which embodies the whole energy of the universe, as does hydrogen. And they're slightly different in energy levels, so there is a dynamic aspect to this star formation, and that's why we have this fourth reactor or fourth plasma coming into existence. Now, so this is the soul of the creator within whole existence. So, and this is what we talked about earlier, this little picture here, that neutron and hydrogen together pervades the whole creation, and where soul of the creator is there everywhere. Now, as you all know, let's make a copy of this. Now, as you all know, that when we zoom out this picture, at the level of creation, where our unique house is the electron, and we have this so we have the same interaction, and which is the soul of the creation process at the highest level. We have the same arrangement, same star formation, same fourth plasma, and it's again the same thing, whether we look at it from the neutron level or if we look at it the creation level. And so now there is a confusion that I have encountered in my other classes, is that people say, well, which came first? The neutron or the proton or all of these things. But this is when we think about time and its linearity, we are thinking in matter state. But in plasma state, it's zero time. Everything is zero time. So where is the beginning and where is the end? Or perhaps it's a never-ending story. So this is something we have to get acclimatized to, how time operates, in the sense that from zero time to the time as we know it, perhaps we know only partially what time is, because everything is spherical. Space is three-dimensional. Is time linear only? Even in matter state. So these are things that I think Mr. Keshe alluded to when he talked about moving back in time, stepping back 2 steps and looking at and changing the future based on what's there in the present. So these are things for us to explore. I'm not just saying in terms of concept, but even practicality, how we deal with time. So this is one aspect of the teaching I wanted to kind of like go into it a little bit. And this gives us a view that the possibility of connecting to the Creator exists everywhere, anywhere. We may need some, what do you call it, walking stick to get used to it. But if we really want to delve into it, it's there always. And the sooner we get rid of these supporting sticks, the quicker we get to the understanding that helps us to transmute. So this is something, bringing this point of the soul that exists everywhere in the creation, from the highest level down to the neutron, hydrogen level, is something that pervades everything, our body, our soul, and cosmos, universe, wherever you go. In a sense, and there is a saying from one of the poets. I think it comes from the Sufi poet Rumi. And wherever I look, I see nothing but you. So that gives you an idea. I mean, the deeper understanding that these people carried. But let's go. I mean, from this kind of like more philosophical, almost philosophically. I'm not saying it's philosophical, because actually we can think in terms of this energy system and connect with it. So, and this possibility, let's look at it in a little more detail. So, last time, and in the last teaching, we had the carbon dioxide. All right, here, carbon dioxide. And this is carbon dioxide, which was like, I think 44. And then we have the amino acid. Oops. And that was 43. And then we have this iron and the carbon 14 times 4, that kind of things, which was 56. So I'll use the carbon 14 one, because there is a very specific things I want to talk about. So carbon 14. And so we have carbon 14, and then okay, times 14, we have the 56. Actually, we want to do it this way. Yeah, space. So here we have the situation case. $56. Now, so these are things we saw in the class that Mr. Keshe was teaching. Now, if you look at the difference between these two.
Carbon 14 times 4 or times 14?
Okay, I made a mistake. So yeah, I typed something. Okay, let's correct it. Thanks for pointing that one out, Mark. Okay. Okay. All right. So, and then we have the situation of the other case where between 43 and Okay, it's good that the two are different. So in this case, we have the difference is 12. In this case, the difference is 13. Does it look familiar? We have the C12, and then we have the bridge that's created by C13 to the C14 world. We have the same situation here. We have the 12, which is the carbon dioxide has the 12 separation, and the amino acid, which has to exist, as the 13 separation. It's a range of fields actually, and so as we have discussed earlier, and Mr. Keshe has gone into more further detail on that. So this is how we bridge the carbon 12 world with the carbon 14 world, and 13 is the in-between range of fields that we can use. And this is our familiarity with this carbon 13 range of spectrum of fields is what is necessary for us to go into transmutation. So this is something that Mr. Keshe went into detail in the last Knowledge Seeker workshop. And those discussions, the one is about the star formation with hydrogen and neutron or deuterium, take it as a whole, as well as this aspect of carbon 12, 14, and 13. Nicely fits with the picture that was drawn earlier and explained in some level of detail. So I just wanted to bring our previous understanding and add to it and integrate the whole things so that we can get our understanding further is more complete at this point because of this, our previous understanding and the new understanding we just developed as a result of the exposure to the 578 Knowledge Seekers workshop. I hope this makes sense to everybody, or if not, a little bit of thinking will take us there. Thank you very much. If there is any question about this, I will be happy to.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Is this picture in the physical form or is energy form?
Everything here is energy. The C12, of course, is the physical state. So our planetary environment or the solar system level on the planet, yes, we have. So when we come to C12, we are in the matter state.
Yes, thank you. So can we say also that the first neutron or hydrogen is coming from the magnetic fields and reaction together or fusion together and the magnetic waves which create a neutron or hydrogen in the energy side?
Well, Mr. Keshe went into a little bit into how the light that has its own structure to it, which is some structure. And although it's cylindrical in shape, and then it comes into the plasma state, and then it interacts with itself to create the balanced field of 2 deuterium, and from which you go to carbon 14. Actually, if you multiply that balanced coupling of 2 deuterium by 3, which is again a star formation being formed, which becomes carbon 12. And if you add another deuterium to it, you get carbon 14. He didn't go into this detail, but I'm just adding this, and then you get carbon 14 from the light. So it's just part of it. He just drew a line and said carbon 14 comes from the light. But I added a few more steps to it and how you get to it. And he also went into some level of detail of how the the deuterium comes together. I hope that is relevant to your question. I didn't completely understand your question, but maybe if I didn't get it, you may want to restate it.
Yes, please. I was saying that, can we say that the origin of the neutron, original neutron and original hydrogen, is again magnetic fields and magnetic waves and interaction, fusion, division, and all that, which results to neutron, results to hydrogen, results somehow to iron, to any other things, according to the condition of environment.
You mentioned some terms which is new, like magnetic waves. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'll try to explain it in this way. You know, when neutron divides, it becomes proton and electron. So essentially, hydrogen is the matter state dual of neutron, or matter state image of the neutron. Neutron is the base, the principal field. The principal field that holds all the energies, which includes the energy of the universe. Every field, every energy level is within neutron. And then when neutron separates into two pieces, then in a deuterium condition, you have neutrons supplying all the energies to the other two. And in case of hydrogen, the energy is only supplied from the proton to the electron. And so these are the power sources of our atoms, which this is a question I had when I was a child. So, I mean, this is something I'm very much into. So where is the power source of an atom? So yes, so neutron is the power source, generally speaking. And in case of hydrogen, it's an exception where only you have proton and electron, where proton supplies the energy to the electron. So as you have heard, Mr. Keshe talks about it, is that in smaller atoms, the energy need is much lower. So equal number of neutrons with respect to protons is sufficient to supply all the energies necessary for the atom to stay together. But in case of uranium and things like much heavier atom, your energy needs is higher than equal number, the energy that equal number of neutrons would provide. So there is more neutrons generally to create stable uranium. I mean, it's not stable, but it's relatively stable. But yeah. And then you have this whole isotope situation, which I'm not going to go into that, but Mr. Keshe went into that as well in some knowledge seekers workshop. I don't exactly remember which one, but I remember the concept. So how when you have extra energies, there is a energy release, and then there is decay, and then there is energy absorption when you have the gravitational side more. So, I mean, the two sides of, you have the stable structures, and then there are, isotopes with less neutron and isotopes with more neutrons.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So I hope that clears up some of these things. The interaction is energy transfer. And then there is energy transfer as well as the plasma dynamics that creates the fourth plasma, which is the soul of the system.
No question. What you drew on the right, the amino acids step down to the ion and carbon-14. So that's a step down.
It's not a step down. It's the difference in the field. The difference between the two is 13. If you subtract 43 from 56, you get 13. Same as carbon dioxide, when you subtract 44 from 56, you get 12.
Okay. And then you didn't mention the carbon-16.
Carbon-16, no, I didn't carbon-16 because carbon-16 is the Unicos level. And we only dealt with the 3 in the middle.
So, and why is that? Because we are connected to the amino acid?
Yeah, well, amino acid is the bridge between the two worlds, the carbon-14 and the carbon-12, the matter state and the universal field. That's C14. So we essentially always use amino acid to do the connection, linking. Every application of GANs, we use amino acid because the energy has to transfer. It has to have a way of reaching from carbon-14 level to the matter state.
Okay. Now, another question. You see, when the neutron splits to proton and electron, is that a relationship to the structure of a plasma where you have the principal, transition, and the matter state? So where is the electron? Because from the diagram, the neutron split to hydrogen. Where is the electron? And you said the hydrogen and the neutron is the principal.
The neutron divided into two plasmas. One of the bigger plasma is the proton. The little plasma, which is about roughly 1/2000th of proton, is the other plasma. So it's the equivalent of neutron. Yes.
So from your illustration, the neutron split to hydrogen. So which hydrogen should be the electron?
No, there are two entities. There are two entities here. One is the neutron and one is the hydrogen. Hydrogen is a collection. Hydrogen is a collection of two plasmas, proton and electron. So there are two entities here. And when there is an interaction among these three entities, then you have the fourth element, which I drew in pink color.
But the neutron is supposed to split to form hydrogen.
No, okay. Think of this hydrogen as another neutron. It's not this neutron, it's another neutron.
Okay.
It's not this neutron splitting into proton and electron. It's a separate neutron. There are two elements, two entities here, if you can consider. The bigger entity in with the empty circle is if they come together, they become a neutron again. But these are two neutrons here in a sense. So
well, I'm trying to picture that this illustration, the neutron is the initial ray, the initial neutron.
There are two neutrons. You can think of it this way. One became hydrogen, and the other neutron is interacting. It's a self-interaction in a way. It's the same thing. Like you have the principal field, which is neutron, and then you bring together many of them together, and then you create atoms of bigger molecules, like oxygen, whatever, carbon, it doesn't matter. You take a collection of these elements.
So, but there's a missing step. There's a missing step because for the two neutrons to exist, there has to be a split of the initial neutron to proton and electron, and then the electron split, proton goes back to a neutron, or electron goes back to a neutron to split again.
There are two neutrons, two manifestations. We have plenty of neutrons everywhere in the universe. So two neutrons coming together to create this star formation is what's happening here.
Okay.
I understand your confusion. You're thinking that this neutron is splitting, and it's not. There are two things here.
Now I get your illustration, but there's
Yeah.
a missing knowledge from this. I assume there should be a missing knowledge because you went straight from there's existence of two neutrons, but how is it possible that two neutrons will exist simultaneously?
I'm not understanding your question. Two neutrons. I mean, we have in an atom there are many neutrons. Carbon atoms have 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. I'm not sure.
What I'm saying is the basic fundamental of if we are going back to initial understanding, a neutron is supposed to split. A plasma the neutron is supposed to split to a proton and electron. Do you accept that, right? Okay. So your illustration here shows that there's a neutron and there's another neutron at the end.
Yes, there is another neutron, another manifestation.
Well, but how is that possible? Because this is supposed to be the universe. One neutron energy covers the entire universe. You are illustrating that this neutron is supposed to cover the entire neutron.
It can replicate itself.
Yeah, so that means there's a missing point to where it replicates up to the this is good. What you said is okay, I understand that, but I was confused because there's supposed to be a knowledge.
The replication, Mr. Keshe, goes into the replication of soul. You can create another soul by replicating your soul.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
So it's the same idea. There's nothing new here in that sense. So the neutron is the same thing. It's a principal field which can replicate itself.
Your picture is a bit provocative. Perhaps you'd like to readdress it in the reactor group where we have a lot more time to discuss, if you'd be so willing.
Yeah, I can talk further. I mean, I'm being concise here. We can go into more detail if we need to. All right. Let's stop here, and if there is any other question, I would be happy to answer. Yes. But we want to kind of restrict it a little.
Moshfik, my dear Moshfik, thank you so much. These are beautiful, absolute knowledge, and showing clarity that when we are doing from many years these meditations, and now we can see this meditation. You were saying that, Mr. Cohen, how he gets enlightened. You know, that the carbon-13, the local bridge, and then the portal, carbon-12. So here, the neutron, I was splitted into the universe I created. And then again, from this portal, I became the beauty and vitality, the carbon-14. And the light came in to me, to all of souls that in existence. The another neutron I became. So, yes, there are many neutrons, my dear. I was a neutron at that time, and a different neutron I am now, creating this beauty and totality from this portal I'm going through. I accepted that. Thank you, my dear Moshfik. Thank you. Here, science meets the soul. You have described it so beautifully. Thank you so much. Now we can go to the, if anybody has to say anything, now we can go to the next presentation.
Sharing.
needs and wishes, beautiful souls. We are here to serve, my dear. And if anything you want to share or anything, as we are all knowledge seekers, dear one. So please do share. If you want to ask a question, please do ask and spread love. Thank you. Please, welcome. Suswagatam.
Thank you, Sweta. It's Dean again here. Mosfeq, I'd just like to thank you for explaining that in a beautiful way that hopefully many people will start to understand the real process of creation. So, and that's explaining it in a scientific level, so that the scientific community can come to understand some of these laws that we've positioned ourselves with are out of date, are obsolete, are a plasma that's in decay. So the needs and wishes would be that the knowledge that Mosfeq, Mr. Keshe, all the beautiful knowledge seekers, all the Universal Council and everything that they speak about, that this knowledge really is brought forward into the world of the matter state, into the condition of the plasmatic condition of the soul of humanity, and all the created creatures, even the creatures that are present with us that may have superior knowledge, but there's always something that we miss, that they miss, that may be an addition to what they've come to know, which may open up another plasmatic doorway to another creation. And so my need and wish would be that this knowledge is evenly distributed across the planet, that all the sciences come to understand the beauty of it, that all of theology understands the position of the principal field, and how that affects the reality that we have come to know. So thank you all, and thank you, Mosfeq. And that's all I'd like to say. I'm sure somebody else can come forward, or Rick may have a question that we can put to the panel. Thank you, Rick.
Yes, there's a question in YouTube and sort of a conversation going on there with someone called KKK444KKK, small case Ks, and who had a couple of comments. He had a question he would like to ask about the Sai Baba, who is famous for his use of diamonds, collector of gold, etc., only tuning his hand, or maybe turning his hand or tuning his hand. I don't know about Sai Baba, but I think he's talking about the manifestation of things, manifestation of physicality from your hands, basically, from nothing, from the fields. I don't know if he has a particular question about that, but I'll just go on here before we address that. He also asked why almost all of the people are told by religions that there is a creator or more than one. Why this obsession about greater creatures creating humanity? And so that's sort of a basic question that has come up, this idea, the need to aggregate a kind of gods or superior or creators, etc. Is that to fulfill the need to win the scaring existence as humans feel limited and vulnerable? Is that why the idea of a creator has come up in religions in order to control people, basically?
Yes, in order to control people, suppress them. And the sad part is they are used to it and they doesn't understand the reality, the knowledge actually. This is suppression indeed, to create fear, scarcity, everything. So this is real. And here we are saying that if you exist, then there is this whole universe exists. Each and every being is so much important in their own ability to understand how to create, as Creator has created all of us in His image. So this is total suppression, and really all the religions have done this from thousands of years. Now it's time to detach from these, kind of, this type of suppression strings we are hanging kind of, with nothing, only to scare that if we don't do that, then the Creator will punish us like that. But there is no such thing. If I am the Creator, I will love everybody. I will never punish anybody. I will always love, always, always, through the Creator. So this is the fact. And talking about Sai Baba, is a saint from India. He does that. I don't know, but there is no relevant example or real time thing that he has been. Many Sufis and sannyasis are doing that, like from the thin air, they are creating this gold coming in their hand, this silver, this everything. This can happen. We know about the plasma science. This is not unreal. They know from thousands of years. Many Sufis, many sannyasis, many gurus knows that. They are familiar with this knowledge. But then, what is actual? But every time when we see in our in ancient books and ancient knowledge that these sannyasis live in small huts and very little, there is no want. They don't want anything. They only give. And when the kings came bow to them, my teacher, what should I do? And they say, you should do like that. I can't give you the blessing of gold, I can give you everything, but I can't give you the peace. It is from within you. You have to understand the peace, the love, and then comes the abundance from you, and it starts from you. So, utter suppression, and now with this knowledge, we are becoming universal. We have to come out of this. So, thank you for asking. Thank you, Madhu.
I'll add a little bit to what Baba is talking about. Often the powerful punishing God is not God with a big G, but the little God G. There are a lot of pretenders, powerful beings. They call themselves God, and they try to abuse people by exercising their power. So this is often in all the holy books. The God often referred to as these kind of gods. In addition to that, there is the complementary aspect of God, the humility, the lowest of the lowest, which is not emphasized. We talk about this a lot in plasma science. It is the lowest field, the neutron, the principal field, the smallest. It pervades everything, the smallest aspect of creation is everywhere. So it is it's not the biggest and the most powerful. It's the least powerful and the smallest as well. So this is another aspect that we have to take into consideration. And and as to making gold, there are, not just in India, which is where Shweta and I have been, are from, but there are many other places people have been making gold in many places. It's not, it's well known, not just Sai Baba. And in most cases, those who make gold, they get obsessed with making gold, and which stops their further development. And often the teachers warn them not to do it. But once they know how to make gold, and people are obsessed with gold, and so this is something. So the making of the gold is an obsession of the material world, not necessarily an expression of understanding of the energy world. Understanding of the energy world brings humility, while making gold becomes a god, because that person is no longer humble. That person has become God with a small g. So anyway, these are some of the ramifications of playing with energies, but and confusing it with matter state can be a peril in more than one way.
And again, Rick, I think this might be a nice question to examine deeper in the plasma reactor group.
Yes, indeed, that is a good place for such discussions.
Rick, it's Dean here. Just quickly, the question that came forward was about this this man being able to create from his palm of his hand, some matter state. So when we do this thought, or you can think of an object or something, with your condition now. If you're humble, as Mosfeq was just saying, will you create the matter state? Will you be able to come back into this carbon 12 and use that crossover that Mosfeq was on about, using the carbon 13, the soul? So Mr. Keshe said this: there will come a time when you can have anything you need, and you're going to have so much you won't know what to do with it. You get very bored with it very quickly. So we're starting to understand the process of creation, and then do you just twist your hand to create the gold? Gold, as we said, is a matter state obsession. It's not required. It's the soul aspect and the realization of the soul that and the creation that should be the focus point of the intention. Anyway, thank you, Rick.
Thank you, my dear Dean. Thank you, Moshfik. Thank you so much. Rick, if there is any more question, not any more question, or anything to share, then we can move to the next presentation.
Okay, I think we're clear on that. So let's carry on.
We are here to serve, not to be... Okay.
Sorry, Sweta. Only that one wish. For all the people elevate their soul to make a decisions about their well-being beyond those who hold the power, because the people need take your own power. You need understand it's only you. All people is the prophet. All people is the messiahs. All people is the creator. Of course, all people is responsible for your contribution, because when you believe, you create. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. We are present. Then, beautiful souls, we are here to serve, not to be served. Dear beautiful souls. And hey, Bumblebee, here is the garden. Flowers full of nectar. Why you are playing so innocent? So welcome to the beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome to the beautiful energy of all universal souls we are. Welcome to the beauty and totality of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance here in Keshe Foundation. Join, jump, follow, love Keshe Foundation. Thank you. Thank you so much. And this is the Universal Council. And salam, namaste, salute.
Okay, thank you, Sweta, and thank you to all the members and support members of the Universal Council for presenting today's wonderful show, the 367th in a continuous weekly series of workshops, the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, here on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. We'll be back again next week with this program. And our next public teaching workshop is the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, and that will start at 7 o'clock a.m. In Central European Time. And that's tomorrow, Wednesday, February 26th. And folks who are interested in showing what they've been doing with the plasma technology or have any questions or comments, topics they would like to discuss, that is a good place for the practical side of the plasma technology, you could say, of the Keshe teachings. And we get into all kinds of topics there. So again, 7 a.m., starting at 7, we usually go for several hours. And yeah, our next, also our Knowledge Seekers Workshop will be coming up February 27th on Thursday. And that starts at the usual 9 a.m. Central European Time. Okay, I think that's it for various announcements.
And how about some dance and club in the garden?
One last announcement.
Beautiful souls.
Song and dance.
Join me. Thank you. All the love, always, beautiful souls.
Thank you, Sweta, for your enthusiasm as always. And may everyone clap and dance their way into the day as we continue here. Okay, bye for now, everyone. And again, thank you for being here. Well, I have a bit of an issue that Zoom is not allowing me to share the sound. Maybe it's already activated, but it won't allow me to click the box for some reason. So let me try to play it. If it doesn't come through, then we might have to silently clap and dance our way into the day.
In our own way.
Yes.
Have the music in our heart. Thank you.
You can clap and dance. It doesn't matter whether the music's there or not. And we'll all hear each other anyways. Okay, bye for now.